These are the most disrespectful moments in NHL history. Tyler Bertuzzi and Nick Cousins exchanged words on their way to the bench, but Bertuzzi took it to another level. He stole Cousins' stick, brought it to his bench, and tried to snap it in half. You can even see Cousins trying to get it back, only to skate away like a kid who just got his lunch money stolen. But even that doesn't top what Matt Cook did. Cook already had a reputation for dirty plays, but this time he crossed the line. In a game against Ottawa, he slashed Erik Karlsson from behind with his skate. The blade cut through Karlsson's Achilles tendon, sidelining him for months. Fans were stunned. Even Cook's defenders were silent after that. Take a look at this play. Austin Matthews delivers a perfect setup, putting the Leafs ahead 4-2. But the real highlight isn't the goal itself. If you watch closely, you'll see Leo Komarov tap a defender's shoulder after scoring, as if to say, better luck next time. At least Komarov didn't physically hit anyone, unlike Dennis Wideman, who attacked the referee just because he didn't see a penalty call. During the game of his team with Nashville hockey player, got under the power play, hit his head, and headed to the bench of his team. On the way, he unexpectedly made a hard power play against lineman Don Henderson.
And Don Henderson is down, getting slowly back up to his feet, so...
The referee didn't see the player, but he prevented the defender to pass to the bench, and it caused a sudden rage at Wideman, after which he linesman and applied. Although the player said that he hit the judge accidentally and apologized. Nevertheless, for such rudeness, Dennis was first disqualified for 20 games, and the referee filed a lawsuit against the defender and demanded to recover from him a little much and $10 million. But even that doesn't top Brad Marchand, because this man has a habit of licking his opponents. Yes, you read that right. And the fact that he's done it multiple times, absolutely bizarre. Ty Domi is definitely someone you should not try to lick or even get overly familiar with. Forget about getting that close. He's known to snap even at a fan. During a game between the Maple Leafs and Flyers, Domi was sent to the penalty box for unsportsmanlike conduct. Philly fans started heckling him, so he jokingly promised to splash them with water. And he did! One fan, Chris Falcone, was furious. He leaned over the glass, but with too much force. The barrier broke, and he fell right into the penalty box. Chaos erupted as Domi and Falcone wrestled until security intervened. Falcone later sued Domi for $50,000, but the enforcer had a surprising response. He visited the fan at home, brought gifts, and gave him tickets to future Leafs games. The gesture won Falcone over, and he dropped the lawsuit. What a story. And here's what happens when a player shows disrespect to the goalie. 2010, Cam Janssen of the St. Louis Blues decided to show Montreal Canadiens' Carey Price exactly what happens when a goalie wanders too far from home. You gotta love Price. He dropped the mitts and without even taking off his mask, tried to rip his teammate away from Janssen to get in on the action. In the end, Janssen was sent to the box for roughing. Well, that was fun. NFL players are expected to respect the officials, but sometimes the officials forget to respect the players. Game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning, Michael Bunting opened the scoring and set the tone. But that night, fans remembered something far stranger than the goal. At the end of the first period, referee Dan Kelly went way beyond his authority and literally shoved a player off the ice.
Jawing as well. The linesman shoving Bunting off the ice.
It all started with a brief scuffle after a hit. A routine situation in the NHL that quickly calmed down, but for some reason, the ref aggressively escorted Bunting toward the locker room, even using force. Bunting's reaction? He nearly lost his balance and shouted, "What the hell are you doing? Are you freaking insane?" Fans on social media were stunned, arguing that physical contact from a referee is just as unacceptable as from a player. Now let's talk about the unwritten rules. Break them, and it's total disrespect. Never hit an opponent if they're down in a fight. In the unwritten code of hockey enforcers, hitting a downed player is a major sign of disrespect. If someone dares to break this rule, they'll likely have to answer to the entire opposing team. Even fans show no respect for those who try to cheap shot an already fallen opponent. Never step on the team logo in the locker room. It may seem like a superstition, but this rule is taken very seriously. Stepping on the logo is considered disrespectful to the team. In the NHL, even a cameraman can be thrown out for accidentally stepping on the emblem while adjusting his shot. A famous incident occurred in 2013 when Justin Bieber unknowingly stepped on the Chicago Blackhawks locker room logo. Fans and players were absolutely furious. Never cross the red line during warm-ups. Every NHL player knows this rule. Crossing the red line before the game is an open invitation for a fight. One of the most infamous cases happened in 1987 when Claude Lemieux of the Montreal Canadiens shot the puck into Philadelphia's empty net. at the end of warm-ups. What followed? One of the wildest bench-clearing brawls in NHL history. In hockey, even scoring on an empty net can spark a fight. That's exactly what happened with young NHL forward Ridley Greig. He knew the unwritten rules of respect, but still ended up in a scuffle. Here's why. In the final seconds of the third period, Greig found himself in front of Toronto's empty net. Instead of simply sliding the puck in, he unleashed a powerful slap shot straight into the net.
Is going to put the finishing touches on an Ottawa win and series win at Morgan Riley.
Seems like a normal goal, right? Well, in hockey, blasting the puck into an empty net is often seen as taunting the opponent. Naturally, Maple Leafs players didn't take it lightly. One of them immediately charged at Greig, not even letting him celebrate. So, whose side are you on? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, we get it. A bad time slash can stir things up. But Nick Mikkola from Florida took it to a whole new level. With the clock winding down, he unleashed a slap shot from his own zone. Not along the ice, but through the air. The problem? Nobody saw it coming. Caden Gould barely jumped out of the way. If he hadn't, that puck could have hit him right in the head. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal, but from another angle, it was clearly dangerous. There's an unwritten rule in hockey. You don't take a slap shot at the buzzer, especially not at head level. The Canadians were furious, and with the playoff race heating up, this bad blood is far from over. Brad Marchand is back with his antics, but this time, no licking involved. In the 2013 NHL playoffs, the rivalry between Columbus and Boston was nothing short of pure hatred. Both teams were willing to do anything to win, but no one took things as personally as the league's ultimate villain, Brad Marchand. With the game tied 2-2 in overtime, Marchand realized he needed to pull off some sneaky tactics. Watch closely to see what he does with his opponent's stick.
Why was it broken? No, there's why, because he stepped on it. No wonder he's...
During a face-off, Marchand stepped on Cam Atkinson's stick, snapping it in half and forcing him to skate to the bench for a replacement. And the best part? Marchand got away with it. Later, he even joked that Atkinson was just trying to dull his skate blades. Classic Marchand.
You broke my stick. Yeah, right. I'm going to say you owe me a new stick and more money, but
Everybody loves a good hit, but what Alexei Emelin did, that infuriated the entire opposing team.
Stepped in over the blue line.
This hit caused an uproar because it was delivered with the score at 10-1 in favor of the Canadians. However, the controversial reaction to hit did not diminish its impact. Emelin, with a superb hip check, knocked his opponent to the ice, inciting the righteous anger of the Colorado players. One of those who expressed his displeasure was the legendary Jerome Iginla, who was playing his 1500th NHL game. The Russian defenseman, ignoring the two-time Olympic champion's status, took him down to the ice and sparked a mass brawl. Here's how to mess with your opponent without even stepping on the ice. Nikita Zadorov is quite the NHL troll, a master at getting under his opponent's skin. Fans love him for it, but opponents, not so much. But what he pulled off during the game against Pittsburgh left even his biggest supporters shaking their heads. Late in the first period, Evgeny Malkin was standing at the blue line near the boards, right next to Boston's bench. Zadorov, sitting right behind him, decided it was the perfect moment for a joke. He reached out with his stick and, without hesitation, poked Malkin in the, well, let's just say his backside. Do you think Malkin let it slide? Of course not. Furious, he turned around and swung his stick straight at the opponent's bench, hitting someone right on the head. Chaos broke out instantly, and Zadorov, proud of himself, sat there with the biggest smirk on his face. But the referees weren't laughing. Both players were handed 2-minute penalties. And after the game, there came another surprise. A $5,000 fine for each of them. And here's the question, was it worth it? All because one joker on the bench thought poking someone in the backside was funny? Pretty sure Malkin wasn't laughing while paying that fine.